अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाजरीन, प्रोग्राम रॉयल एक्सक्लूसिव के साथ आपका मेज़बान बिलाल यामीन हाजिर है। नाजरीन, पिछले हफ्तों में आने वाले सैलाब ने पाकिस्तान के तूल अर्ज़ में जो तबाही मचाई वो आप लोगों ने अपने घरों में बैठकर टेलीविज़न स्क्रीन के ज़रिए देखी। पाकिस्तान में 2 करोड़ से ज़ाहिद लोग ऐसे हैं जो इस सैलाब की वजह से बेघर हुए। यहाँ पर लाखों घर मस्मार हुए और हज़ारों एकड़ फसल जो है वो ज़ेरे आब आ गई। पाकिस्तान की मईशत को इससे जो नुकसान पहुँचा उससे भी आप लोग बाखूबी आगाह हैं। लेकिन इस मुश्किल की घड़ी में मैं समझता हूँ जो बैनुल-अक़वामी इमदादी इदारे हैं और जो पाकिस्तान के दोस्त ममालिक हैं, उन्होंने भी पाकिस्तान की मदद के लिए वो अपने बाहर निकले, पाकिस्तान पहुँचे और इस मुश्किल की घड़ी में उन्होंने पाकिस्तान का हाथ पकड़ा। हमारा आज का प्रोग्राम भी इसी हवाले से है। मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं USAID के कंट्री हेड और जो इस तमाम प्रोसेस को देखते हैं, बिल बर्गर। हम उनके मशकूर हैं कि वो आज हमारे प्रोग्राम में आए। Thanks a lot, Bill, for joining us over here for this animated discussion. Before we start up, I just want to show you a few clips of this disasters and humanitarian aid which was provided by the USA. You see, all houses are in the water, and people are badly affected. These are the fields, agricultural land, which is underwater. You must have been to the area.
I've been to the area around Sukkot.
Sukkot, you have been to.
Yeah.
This is,
and I was
this
up in
road
Swat also.
has been washed off. You see, this road has been washed off.
Yes.
The infrastructure has badly damaged. These all houses are in the water, all fields. These are your helicopters which provide aid to the people of Pakistan. These people of Pakistan think they are angel for them. USAID is probably, they are loading it in that helicopters to distribute it over there. All goods, these are boxes which were distributed over there. These people are rescued from there. These were flood victims which were taken off, airlifted by the helicopters. Water was the important element in this aid. So, Bill, this is what you see. I just want to put my first question. What is the total assistance, exact amount, which is pledged by the United States for the victim of the floods?
Bilal, so far we've provided about $216 million total assistance from the U.S. government, but that figure is rising by the day as we identify more needs and we identify needs for assistance. That's been increasing, as you've seen, over time.
So, Bill, how you utilize it? What is the mechanism of utilizing this aid?
Well, there's different mechanisms for the different funding streams that we have. As you know, we've been providing assistance through helicopter support, and that's been working directly with the Pakistan government, directing that support. We provide assistance, my office, the Office of U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance, which is part of USAID, one wing of it. We're the humanitarian wing of that office. And we've been providing our assistance under the direction and in close cooperation with the government of Pakistan through NGOs and INGOs to get our supplies and assistance out as quickly as possible. We've also been flying in commodities, things like plastic sheeting, water jugs, anything that's not available in country that we can bring in, that we need to bring in, we fly in, and that's been distributed once again under the direction of the NDMA and the PDMAs out in the field. We also have our Food for Peace office, which has provided over $51 million in food assistance now, and it represents a large portion of the food assistance that's being distributed out in the countryside today. So we have various mechanisms depending on the type of funding stream that we have. Part of our State Department, Population, Refugees, and Migration, has provided assistance through the UN system to get assistance out. We've also provided money through the UN system. Whatever is the quickest mechanism is what we're trying to use.
Well, how much of the total assistance which is pledged by the United States, what is the share which you have received, USAID has received up till now?
Well, this is the money that we've expended. My office has expended over $86 million to date, and we're continuing to provide more. But that's on the ground and working right now.
Out of 216, you have received 86 million by the US Department.
No,
USAID Department.
No, 216 is the assistance that's already being provided. I'm talking about just the portion that my office covers.
The whole amount which has been pledged by the United States is already being transferred to the USAID Pakistan, right. And that is underutilization right now.
That's correct.
That's right. The mechanism of rehabilitation and assistance in Pakistan is an area that is extremely murky. Would you please put some light on your mechanism of operations?
Well, we're trying to get the assistance out in the quickest way possible, and as I said, we work very, very closely with the government of Pakistan to identify needs and get assistance out. USAID has been in Pakistan for many, many years. We've been providing assistance all along, and we're using the quickest mechanisms that we have to get assistance out. We have a long-term commitment to Pakistan, and through our USAID programs, the development programs that have been going on, we've taken programs where necessary, and we redirected money to get money quickly to flood-affected victims, and we've also brought in new streams of assistance.
There is another perception about this aid, that this aid is for ideological objectives. How you answer it?
This is humanitarian assistance. As I said, USAID has been here for many years providing assistance. Before this flood, before the earthquake, we were providing disaster risk reduction assistance to Pakistan. Before the earthquake, we were already working on mitigating the impacts of earthquakes with the government of Pakistan through our Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance Disaster Risk Reduction Funds. In fact, before the floods began, 3 weeks before, I was in Pakistan working with NDMA on a program that we have for strengthening the government's response. We have a program called the Program for Enhanced Emergency Response, and that provides collapse structure search and rescue training, medical first responder training, and also a community element to prepare local communities to respond to disasters better. This was before the floods ever started. Our flood assistance is just a continuation of the commitment that the American people have for Pakistan.
Bill, don't you think that the government departments have much better capacity for the utilization of this aid instead of NGOs?
Well, remember that all of these NGOs are working under the direction of government departments. The government departments are telling them where to provide assistance, what types. They have to work very closely with the local government in that. What we're doing is augmenting and adding to the capacity of the government. All of these programs are under the direction of the government. So it's adding capacity at a time when you need added capacity. This is an overwhelming situation. So what we're trying to do is have the most effective and efficient mechanism to get things out quickly to people. USAID and the different humanitarian agencies in Pakistan are using NGOs for this purpose just to save the time. That's a very, you're absolutely right on that, but also, as I said, this is augmenting the capacity of the government at a time when it needs augmentation. This is an overwhelming situation. It's very difficult for anyone to deal with. So once again, we're trying to add to the capacity that the government has, working very closely and under the direction of the government. We're here to support the government of Pakistan as it responds to the people that are in need, its citizens in need. Bill, now the rescue operations are in the process, but you must be aware of the fact that damages caused to the infrastructure in the flood-affected areas. Does your government has any specific plans for the reconstruction of the infrastructure in the flood-affected areas? I think that you will remember from the experience with the earthquake what a key role USAID played in the rehabilitation of the country, and we intend to play the same role in the floods. My part of USAID, the part I represent, the Office of U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance, does the emergency part and some of the early recovery. USAID, the larger USAID, takes it from there and moves into the reconstruction phase. So as far as reconstruction phase is concerned, even USAID is committed to help us out even in that. Hillary Clinton, your Secretary of State, she has appealed to the people of United States to give some aid through a mobile message.
So what is the total amount which has been collected with that appeal?
You know, I don't have the most recent number on that, and that's a dynamic number. I can try and get that information for you, but I don't have it.
You have explained the mechanism, why you work with the NGOs. You have explained that this is not something which is ideologically objective program. This is something which you were doing before, which you are doing even if once this is over, even then USAID will be here and working for the betterment of the people of Pakistan. How people of Pakistan should understand this, that Americans over here who are working for the only for the humanitarian grounds, there is no hidden agenda behind it. Because once you work in the Pakhtunkhwa and in specific areas over there, and you neglect Punjab, Sindh and Balochistan, so people over here, they think that probably there's a hidden agenda behind it. There's a specific area which they want to target and they are going to that area.
Well, I would disagree with that. We're working in all of the affected areas. We are working in Sindh, we're working in Punjab, working in Balochistan. We programmed money for assistance in all of those areas. It happened that we were providing assistance for the IDP situation, which was ongoing before the flooding happened. So we had a lot of capacity in those areas that were most affected. But that's certainly not a limitation on the assistance that we're providing. We're providing assistance to every area we can. Of course, there's less capacity in some of those areas because the big situation before was the displaced people from the conflict. So we're moving down very quickly and working with local NGOs in areas of Sindh, Balochistan and Punjab.
Well, I'll take a break over here. नाज़रीन, यहाँ पर हम एक छोटा सा ब्रेक लेंगे और ब्रेक से वापस आके बिल से अपनी गुफ्तगू जारी रखेंगे.